Hello everybody, it's Amanda. How are you doing? Today is October the 26th, I think, it's Saturday, 2019, but this video is pretty timeless in its message. So whenever you happen to watch it will probably be the right time for you. I'd like to talk about soul weariness, and I'd like to talk about how we can help to nourish and lift our soul so that it receives the same care, attention and time that we put into other aspects of our life. This video follows on from the one that I did a few days ago, the energy update that came through. And in that I was talking about the energy being or feeling quite low. It's as though we'd been in a bit of a dip. Disassociated, cut off from spirit to a degree, being forced to stand still and look and reflect and observe. Interestingly, the Schumann resonance on the 24th of October showed a period where there was no recordings at all, went offline. It's literally as though Gaia herself was sort of pausing, taking a breath. Very low frequency recordings around the time I was talking about this energy and what was it. And 24 hours went by and I still had the energy with me, although it was lifting a little bit, but it's still here. And I was saying to Metatron, what is this? This feels different from how I felt before. It feels different from what normally is out there in the collective as well, because I'm a bit like all of us, a barometer of what's going on in the collective as well. And he said to me, it's not what you think it is. He said it's the fact that your soul is weary. He said your soul is weary, Amanda. And I thought about that and I thought, okay, he didn't say anything else. He just said your soul is weary. But it made a lot of sense because it's like he wanted me to work out what that meant. And that's what this video is about. I also noticed last night a community post from Phil Good, who I've recommended to you before. I rate Phil very highly. And he used the same term. I think he said it in a slightly different way. He said something along the lines of the soul feeling tired or something like that. I won't speak for him because he wrote his own thing. But it was just those words. And it was like when I saw that, I thought, yeah, that's sort of what Metatron was saying to me as well. So I thought, okay, let's try and go a bit deeper. What is this all about? Soul weariness. Because the thing is, we live in a time where we talk a lot about the fact that we can get physically tired. We all know what that means. We all know how that feels. We all know what that does when we get physically tired. I don't know about you, but when I'm physically tired, I can get quite grumpy and bad-tempered and snappy. You know, stay away. But the thing is, I acknowledge it. I know it's there, and usually I'll just take myself off, you know, so I don't impose that energy on other people. I'll have an early night, or I'll say to my family, I'll just say, look, just give me some space, please. I'm tired. No one's at their best when they're tired. So we know that physical tiredness has an effect. What about mental tiredness? I think we know about that as well, mental tiredness. A mind that is too full, a mind that is not at rest, a mind that is constantly alert, leads to stress, can lead to panic, can lead to a heightened fear response. We know this, don't we? We know what it is to be physically tired, what it is to be mentally tired. We also know what it feels like to be emotionally tired of a particular situation that we're trying to work out, feelings that we're trying to process or let go of, or welcome in. We know about this, but what about the soul? What about the soul being tired? You know, at the end of the day, you actually are your soul. Your name, however you look, however you dress, you know, is just such a tiny fraction of who you really are. But yet we give all this attention to the physical body and the mental body and the emotional body, which we need to do. Absolutely, 100% we need to do. But what about the soul? When was the last time you did something that really nourished your soul? And I have to say here that sometimes we can pay lip service to the soul, even when we think we're doing something that is sort of spiritual. Are we really fully present in the moment that we're doing it? You can be sitting around, you know, an amazing campfire, as an example, doing with ceremonial work, but unless you're fully present and open to the energies that are there, you're just sitting there. You know, you could just as easily be sitting on your sofa at home. I think we've all been guilty sometimes of paying lip service to the soul and what the soul needs. So this feels as though it's a time when, in my last video, I talked about the fact that our shadow was requiring us to acknowledge what it was trying to say. Look at your fears, I was saying. You know, look at your fears. Look at what scares you. Look at the shadow. Look at your own shadow. Because then the collective shadow is going to retreat a little bit if we work on our own individual shadows. The collective shadow is only a mirror of what we've got going on within us. So there's that layer of work, but then there is another layer. But it's not work. It's the journey of the soul, and what the soul needs to nourish itself is the good stuff. You know, it's what gives you joy, what makes you feel happy. It's funny, this morning, Saturday morning, I'm not a huge rugby fan, to be honest, but, you know, England were playing in the semi-final of the World Cup against the Kiwis, the All Blacks, who are, you know, just this team that are just on a different level of grandeur. And before we went to bed last night, my husband said, right, we're going to get up early, we're going to watch the rugby, you know. And I thought, yeah, let's watch the rugby, why not? And I really got into it. And England did win, which was wonderful. But, you know, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it left a good feeling. Of course, it left a good feeling because we won. But it wasn't just that. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. In the same way that if you can sit in a concert with, you know, music that you love, you come away with such a high that lasts for days. Do you remember that video I did it was a year ago, when I went to see my favourite band, Soft Cell? And I said it was like I'd been nourished at soul level, because it's something that I just love them. I'll always love them. And it was beyond words, and it stayed with me. But then I could feel, you know, that energy going down as I sort of came home. And it's like the euphoria was dying down. The trick is to try to have moments of that euphoria through the year. So don't leave it another year or 5 years till you next see a live band, you know, or you next. It doesn't have to be about music. It doesn't have to be about sport, but it's about whatever it is that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel alive. And what makes you feel alive tends to be what is in here, what the soul wants to experience. We talk so much, and I've been guilty as well of talking about the fact that our souls, I do believe, come here to learn. They come here to learn. They come here to experience all of it. And because life is made up of the rainbow, the sunshine and the rain, there are going to be moments of rain where the soul is learning, it's integrating, it's processing, it's working through karma. You know, it's coming to terms with things. It's experiencing what it is like to be here on planet Earth. But yet there's another part of the soul that came here to have fun, to find joy. And that doesn't mean it's expensive tickets to a show, you know, or anything even involving money. It's a day here where it's like gales and rain. But, you know, there's part of me, my soul, I have to confess, I don't know if I'm going to go and do this, guys, but there's part of me that is like saying, go and fly a kite, go and fly a kite, go and stand on the top of, you know, over there where I live, you know, and just do that, and it'll be fun, and that's what I want to do. And then it's almost like the mind kicks in and says, oh no, you don't want to do that. It's too wet, it's too rainy, you're going to look stupid, you'll be the only one up there. Why do you want to go and fly a red kite on a day like today? Why the hell not? Because I'm alive, you know, because it's part of who I am right now to go and do that. We need to be nourishing the soul. The soul is weary because it hasn't been receiving the attention. No, it has been receiving attention. That's not right. It has been receiving attention, but it's almost as though, okay, Metatron's given the analogy here of, if you think of life as a school, okay, and I think life is a bit like a school, okay. We come here, and as I've just said, I do believe we're meant to do the work. I also believe there are lessons that we're meant to attend. There are things that we are meant to grow from. But remember, school time also consisted of play. Okay, it was the moment when, you know, the bell rang and it was break time. And what did you do in that break time? You know? So I feel as though for lots of us on the spiritual path, we've been putting a lot of good work in, but it's as though the balance of what nourishes us needs to come more to the fore now as well. Okay, all work and no play at the end of the day. But it's not just the work-life balance. I don't think that's just what he meant by the soul being weary at this time. I think Metatron's also giving a nod to the fact that the soul is that part of you that has been around for goodness knows how many thousands of years, you know? Many of us have had so many lifetimes, not just on this planet, in other places as well, but let's just stick to this planet for now. Let's just get our head around that we've had many, many lifetimes here. How many times has the soul witnessed what still brings us pain today? I mentioned on my Facebook page yesterday, you know, that I'd been deeply touched by a homeless young girl that I met yesterday in Bournemouth. And she got to me, she affected me, even though it's not the first homeless person I've ever seen. Of course it's not. But I also think it's because how many lifetimes have we seen a reflection of her, you know? Christ himself talked about the fact that, you know, somebody like that girl, as an example, that can be Christ in that moment, you know? It's like how you respond to that person in that moment. And how many lifetimes have we had where we have responded, hopefully with kindness and compassion, but there's also been lifetimes where we've walked on by. But it's as though the soul keeps being presented with the same sort of issues, the same sort of lessons. And it wants to break free from that, not in terms of dissolving itself of its response, of our individual responsibility to do better, but I feel as though I'm being shown like the Oversoul of Humanity. You know, we're all part of that Oversoul of Humanity, and it's like that part of us that links to the Oversoul is so tired of seeing the injustice, the pain, the inequality, the lack of love, the lack of compassion. I mean, that's where I was last week, and I said that in my last video to you, that I got to a point where I was feeling cynical. It was just like, are we ever going to be able to do this? But also, when I say, are we going to ever be able to do this, don't forget we includes I, okay? We and I are combined. I am part of the we, okay? It's like, can we break free from this? Because I can only break free when the greater has broken free, because I am part of the greater. I'm part of the greater whole. And when you go through times where it's just like you see humanity making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and you've come back time and time again to this planet, and you're still seeing it. And there is just that moment, and I think it's now, And it's definitely where I've been this week, where I said to Meta, I said, you know, it's just like, is it ever going to change? Are we ever going to break through this? And that's where he said to me, it says, your soul is weary. Your soul is weary. But it's equally, it's weary because you care. I care, you care. We want to do this. That's why we keep coming back. Some people come back and reincarnate with very little awareness of what the end goal is. I think most light workers have at some level of their being a very deep knowingness of why they're coming back. Yes, it's to better their individual aspect of their soul, but it's also for the greater good. It's interesting, I don't know, a year or so ago, God knows why I was talking about it, but I talk about all sorts of things, as you know, and it was a post that I did, and I said something along the lines of, oh yes, well, you know, when I die, I know that I'm coming back. I know that I'm coming back. I know I've already signed up for that. And this last week, I've been thinking, well, actually, nothing's written in stone, of course, remember. Just because we say something in 2019 or 2018 doesn't mean that when we get to the other side, we can change our minds. I mean, we can change our minds multiple times. Nothing is set in stone. But I was thinking this week, would I want to come back? Would I want to come back to another dose of potentially this? Even if society is nudged up a little bit more, you know, still. But that's the whole thing about the, we'll go back to being a warrior, okay? Being one of Metatron's army of light. The warriors do. A warrior has a code. It has, they have ethics. They have honour. And they will fight to their last breath. Not, I'm not talking literally there, although sometimes that can happen. It certainly has happened in previous lives. But it's like, we want to see this job done. Not just for ourselves, but for the collective. And how many of you have been watching me over the last few months? And I've increasingly said to you, every time I try and do a video that is sort of like, let's just see where we are at. No collective stuff, Metatron, please. Don't bring anything collective in. Let's just stick to us. It's like, I can't do it. Because the personal and the collective are completely and utterly entwined. Our destiny is linked into the greater destiny of what's out there. So it's deep, it's big, it's huge. And I think it's daunting. And it's okay to say it's daunting. It needs to be said that it's daunting, okay? And that all of us get daunted by it sometimes. And all of us get discouraged by it sometimes. But we do live to fight another day. And we will do that because it's what we've always done. But it's okay to say the soul is weary. I'm weary of this. There's a film coming out. I saw the advert on the TV just now when I was watching the rugby. And the film's called, I can't Google it because I'm recording on my mobile phone. So I've got the date wrong. I think it's linked into the First World War, okay? And it's coming out next January. It's a film about war, but it's a film about brotherhood. And the advert for it basically shows this young guy, you know, a soldier, who is given a command by his superior. And the superior is basically saying, right, you have to go in and give a message to these 2 battalions. And the message has to be delivered for whatever reason. And if you don't succeed, those 2 other battalions will be annihilated. They will die, basically. So I guess it's to do with trench warfare and the fact that you've got to get this message to those 2 battalions to do whatever they're meant to do. Otherwise, we know they are going to be annihilated. And then the sergeant, or whatever it is, he says to them, and remember, one of those people in those battalions, they're your brother. Physically, they're your brother. So if the battalions die, your brother dies. So I guess the whole premise of the film, which revolves around this particular young guy who's given the task to get the message into the camp, it's like it's do or die. It literally is, it's do or die. I will do anything to fulfill my mission because this isn't just about me. It's about the greater good. It's about the fact that I'm fighting for my brother as well, not just myself. And I can see that for some people, what I'm saying here in this message will be like, oh God, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, Amanda. Thank you very much. I just want my own little world, please. I just want to sort my own world out. I just want to, sort my own family out. Yeah, I get that. I've got a family. I've got my own life. I've got people in my life. I've got things, and dogs that are barking now outside. But yet, we are all connected. We're all connected. So, okay, Metatron's saying now, bring another strand of information in. The other strand of information that he's bringing into me now is that if you talk about Oversoul, okay, I talked about we're all connected to this Oversoul. The Oversoul is humanity, okay? When you're feeling weary at soul level, you can draw strength down from that Oversoul energy. That Oversoul energy includes people who aren't here right now. They're not here in your town. They're not here in your community. They're not the ones with you that might also be feeling tired, okay? They are, but again, there's no separation between the veils, okay? So there is this whole band of souls, humanity, that is willing us on from many different dimensional frequencies and many different places. Okay? So it's like we've got to draw down the strength from the best of what humanity can be. And that Oversoul group, they hold the imprint of the best that humanity can be. Okay? The very best it can be. I'm also feeling a very strong pull to the ancestors at this time as well. Enormous help coming through from the ancestors who are also willing us on. So, soul weariness. Let's be brave enough to talk about it. Just going to pull a card here from the Metatron deck. Yeah, let me just show you this. Look, I've had these little bags made up. How cute are these? They're going to be going on sale before Christmas. They're to put your cards into. I know some people still haven't got the cards. There's a second batch being printed right now as we speak, which will be coming back online hopefully before Christmas. I've still got stock of the Metatron cards though in my own shop. I'll put the link below. Let's just have a card, Metatron. Yeah, and he's saying you can draw on me. You can draw on me for support. He's saying you can draw on me for support because I know your soul. I know your soul. He's the keeper of the Akashic Records. Metatron is the keeper of the Akashic Records. I know your soul. I know everything you've been through. I know exactly how you feel. And more than anything, I know why you feel as you feel. In fact, he probably knows why you feel as you feel better than you know, okay? Because he's got the whole big picture. We're human beings. In this lifetime, we remember 1/10, if that, of what we actually are and what we've done and what we've been. Metatron is the keeper of the Akashic Records. He knows all of it. So he knows damn well that we're feeling soul weary. But he's pushing us on, okay? We wouldn't have been given this job to do if we weren't capable of doing it. And you are so loved. You are so loved and you are so held. So I'm just looking at the cards that I've pulled. How many times do we pull this card? The dimensional gateway. We're at the end of something. And that's what I was talking about in that last video I did, that we're on the cusp of change. We're nearly there. But yeah, it's like, it's so hard. The last bit is so hard. We just want to get off the bloody wheel. We don't want to do it any longer. I'm tired. I'm weary. At all levels of my being, I'm weary. The ending leads to this. This is ascension. This is the new dawn. This is where we're all heading for, individually and as a species. And look look at this energy waiting for us. But to get to this, we have to do this. What is this? This is the ending. And within the ending, you are held. What do you want to say about that card, Metatron, in relation to soul weariness? In relation to soul weariness, that's how some of us are feeling right now. I'm at the end of my tether. I'm just wanting it to stop. Read the passage, he says. Okay. So there are channeled words that go with all of these cards, and I wrote them, or they came through me, but you know, I wrote them probably 3 years ago, so I can't remember what I wrote. Shall I read you what I wrote? You know you have reached the end of a road when you have nothing left to give, no more energy to fight, no desire for a turnaround in present-day fortunes, just the need for a clean break from the past or whatever no longer serves you. What you face with the ending now presenting in your life is a path to freedom, yet it feels daunting, an uncharted territory about which you have no understanding. It feels safer to stay with what you know. The jetty out to sea on this card offering an interesting vista, but you would like to turn around and go back rather than jump into the new. Metatron asks you to look again, to see whether this ending is your choice or whether it has been thrust upon you as there is no real way back anymore. The energy has shifted and moved on, and so must you. It may have to do with any area of life, relationship, job, residence, health, life stage. We face many endings in life. The lesson is knowing how to adapt to change and yield when necessary. It may take a little time, but you know the answer, and that is to begin again. The only option in life when something ends. For now, you're not supposed to have all the answers. You are asked to put your hand in Metatron's and realise that this ending is a blessing in disguise. It may not feel like it now, but you will grow from it and learn from it, and ultimately it will make you stronger. Put aside your doubts and your fears. It is understandable that they feel real to you now, but they are only an illusion, keeping you imprisoned where you are, with no compass to steer you forward. Walk the bridge, and do so with Metatron at your side, the sunset in the evening sky telling you that day is closing and evening beckons. It is time. There will be a new day, and after the darkness the sun will come back up. This is an eternal divine promise to you. Enter the waters of change, and like a life float, all the support of the angelic realm will keep you buoyant and flowing to where you next need to be. Endings are necessary, otherwise life cannot begin anew. Nature understands this, the sun and the moon knowing when to rise and when to fall, and you know that for now. An ending is needed, but the new beginning will follow. Be like the birds in the sky who know when the season has changed and migrate to a different place. This is the way of all, and you are urged to look at what is ending in your life and to fly free to the next opportunity or life stage that is offered. All is well. So I feel as though, linking this back to soul weariness, it's as though Metatron is saying not to be discouraged, that we all collectively are at a bit of an ending in terms of where we are heading as a species, and also individually, and that we've just got to flow and trust and have faith through the process of change and endings that are happening now. Because rather than feeling weary and as though we can't do it and what's the point is this, okay? Keep coming back to this card. A gateway awaits here on earth for us to walk through, to break free from so much that has troubled us at soul level over not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes. Okay, just see if there's anything else to say, and then I'm going to get this uploaded. The spray I'm using, by the way, today is the Rainbow Ray Upgrade and Expansion. All the colours of the rainbow. Just feels very relevant right now. So yeah, today, not just today, every day, try and do one little thing that nourishes your soul. What's that going to be? I don't know. We're all individual expressions of the greater Godhead. What pleases one person isn't going to please somebody else. But put it this way, the hint is what makes you feel alive? Who makes you feel alive? Where do you like to be? What do you like to do? Into all life, structure has to be there. Routine has to be there to a degree. Work has to figure somewhere. Responsibility, all of that. But equally, as important, something every day that you're doing that nourishes the soul. So the soul doesn't just think it's just like lesson after lesson after lesson. The soul realises actually, it remembers, hey, I came here to also find the joy. I came here to find the joy. And it can be anything. Do you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to go off and have my lunch, and then my youngest daughter, she's on half term, she said to me yesterday, she said, Mum, can we go and get our nails done? She said, I want to have Halloween nails. So I thought, yeah, why not? So we're going to go and get our nails painted. Silly, black, orange, bits of sparkle. Something I don't normally do. I'm looking forward to it. It can be anything, guys. It can be anything. Anything that just makes you, anything that puts a smile on your face, basically. Much love, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be back soon. Let's lift this weariness and let's step into joy. But like anything, to step into the joy, you've also got to acknowledge how you've been feeling. It's okay to feel weary. It's okay. But equally, we don't have to stay there. When you acknowledge and feel an emotion, then you're able to transcend it. Okay? Your soul just needed to be heard. Much love. See you soon.